Hello, my friends and fellow, hopefully smart people. So tonight is the big night that we've been waiting for. Um, we Can you hear me? Is my mic on? Okay, it is. Okay, because the thing wasn't, vibrating at the bottom, so it was very distressing. Okay, so I made it just in time, simultaneously as the results are about to, stream in. They're about to flood in and pour in. Um, But obviously, this is the 2025 open Supreme Court election for Wisconsin. We have a Democratic, I believe it's a Democratic incumbent, but they're supposed to be nonpartisan. But as partisan, politics have become more one-sided, it's been really hard to keep that, level of um, convention or uh, legacy that has gone throughout our history as a country, um, and that that tradition, if you will. But anyways, both of these are technically nonpartisan candidates. We have Brad Schimmel, which is obviously he's a registered Republican, and he's Elon Musk's and Donald Trump's, puppeteer, their little handpicked candidate that they're shoving up his rectum and controlling him with, and attempting to, you know, steal this election by handing out $1 million checks to undecided voters to sign his super PAC and to donate and support their Republican, um, henchman candidate, who in this case is Brad Schimmel. And then we have Democrat Susan Crawford, who is a former judge, a former prosecutor, and a champion for women's rights, all Wisconsin rights in the state, who is a champion for fair maps in the state, whether it be the state legislature, through the state Senate or House, or whether it be through national politics with the United States congressional districts, which have been very, very, disproportionately biased towards the Republicans for the last almost over a decade, since Republicans first took control back in 2010 of all three branches of government in the state of Wisconsin. So this state has not drifted too far to the right. It certainly is going back and forth, indubitably. As you might have known, we'll take a look real quick at some of the past elections when it comes to, who benefits here from the presidential level. I will pull this up real quick here. But as you can see, here is the results of the 2024 election in the state of Wisconsin. We have 13 counties voted for Kamala Harris, and we have 59 counties, which are mostly rural, sparsely populated and inhabited areas, like along this coast. I forget what it's called, but it's a particular region that is very notable for its rural politics and its very, very high number, acute number of white, uneducated, did not attend college, working class, blue collar workers around this subregion of this state, and we're going to see whether that will be, intuitive to whoever wins tonight on the Wisconsin scale. So it is currently 9:02 a.m. p.m. So I'm going to refresh the page. Still, we are getting no results. But I will, since I am such a nice gentleman here, will happily read the little synopsis of this race for you. So Wisconsin voters will choose a new state Supreme Court justice in this election that will determine whether liberals retain to a 4-3 majority in the Supreme Court of Wisconsin, or whether conservatives will sweep this and take control of the judiciary branch in the state. But while the race is technically nonpartisan, which is what I discussed at the beginning of this stream, I'm really ahead of the times here, guys. The state Democratic and Republican parties have each endorsed a candidate and really fueled this race, pumped a lot of money into this race, a lot of enthusiasm, and a lot of propensity from both sides. We see Elon Musk and kind of that right-wing, clan of people really, hurling money into this race and getting voters really energized. So this is a very partisan election, and that is no doubt that this is a partisan election on both sides. But I think who should win this election is very clear. Who I think will win this election is very clear. It's almost like I'm very distinctively indicating who I think will win in this election. That does not mean she will win, but I'm hoping she will win. Okay. Let's reassess this little page here. No results have came in yet from any of the precincts reporting or the counties. We hopefully will get some results soon since the polls have closed. It is currently 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, and that translates to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, in case you didn't know, where I am from. Eastern, I go based off Eastern Standard Time. That is my time zone that I currently am in. I don't know forever, but currently I'm stuck in the seams of Ohio, which is very exhausting and a little grisly, but that's okay. We're going to move forward with that. But first, I want to take this moment to very enthusiastically show my prediction for this race. This is very, very important. So here I go with my prediction. I will bring it up here. I posted it right here. Final prediction. As you can see here, this is my final prediction. Here it is, guys. Today is the day. This is my final official prediction for tonight's Wisconsin Supreme Court open Supreme Court election. Like I said, in the very first statewide, very highly consequential and significant, sorry, I'm trying to think of what I was going to say because I lose my train of thought. Very prevalent race since Donald Trump's presidency, which is very atrocious, by the way. Just these last months have been very disastrous for our country, for our economy. I mean, anything. You can literally point any issue out, and Trump has done a absolutely miserable, nauseating job on it. If you take, social issues, he's failed on social issues. If you take workers, you see how many workers he's firing and people he's leaving unemployed and how many families that he's hurting. As we speak, too, you see how many, agencies that he's defunding. Healthcare. My mom works in healthcare. The suicide hotline. He cut staffers on the suicide hotline, the National Suicide Hotline. He cut staffers for that. He cut staffers for, environmental safety protections, and people who do wildlife, surveillance and, modifying. But we've seen, and this is the very first. This is really, I have to say this. We're going to go to the results now, which is probably not here yet, naturally, which is ridiculous. But the polls have closed. Come on, guys. But this initiates the very first spark of what we see from the voters' perspective. So tonight is going to be our very first glimpse, regardless if you're Democrat or Republican, of if what is going on in this country right now is popular with the American people. We are going to see that very visibly, and very translucently tonight. And if the Democrats win, if Susan Crawford, I hope like hell she wins because she deserves to win, and I don't know how she wouldn't win at this point in time. But if she wins, which I'm hoping, I'm super, super confident that she will win. I don't want to get too complacent and vain myself, though, because, Brad Schimmel could win. He could pull an upset. In my opinion, it would be considered an upset. Really wouldn't be an upset, but in my opinion, I think it would be. But anyways, if Susan Crawford were to win, that will show the discernment that voters have towards this administration, and they clearly do not approve of what he is doing and how he is, especially how he is, very much ceding power of many of his decisions that are supposed to be left up to elected officials, not unelected bureaucrats who Elon Musk conveniently is, spouting against, who is, condemning about unelected, get rid of slash the unelected bureaucracy and get rid of all these unelected bureaucrats while sitting in office as an unelected bureaucrat himself. But this is going to be a real testament to our country, to the faith in our country, and to where we stand as a nation, to where, it's going to be, it's really going to reveal how people are guided and where people get their information from. So I'm looking forward to that a lot tonight. And I'm praying that we come out on top. I think we will. I think we will. But anyways, I got off track. Here is my Here's my prediction of. Anyways, I'll read this and stop getting off track and stop, mangling all over the place. But based on my analysis and my projections, I believed that left-leaning Democratic-endorsed Susan Crawford will come out on top by a marginal victory of about 4.5%. And I know this is very specific, but I will get into this afterwards. Over Trump and Elon-backed far-right candidate Brad Schimmel. And I go on to say that I expect she has approximately a 86% chance of winning tonight, while her opponent has a 14%. So the sides, in my opinion, I see are significantly, immensely on Crawford's side tonight, which is good news. Now, that does not mean that this is the results. This could very well turn either way. Here is the county map I have. I have Susan Crawford picking up at least 7 counties. We will look for that. I will put my cursor on them because I do not know the names of the counties off of hand, but it is this county right here. If you can see my mouse arrow on it, I believe she will pick up this county, which Kamala Harris lost in 2024 last year. She will pick up this county right here, this county, this county, this county, this county, and this county right here. So that is a total of 7 pickup counties that I believe, based on my very narrowed down and strategic, I really had to scrutinize the polling data to get this accurate, meticulous map, if you will. But I'm curious to see how accurate I am tonight. But my final prediction is I believe Susan Crawford, the Democratic candidate, will come out on top by a margin of about 4.5%. And there's a number of reasons. Number one, I will say this. My first explanation is because people are dissatisfied with how this country is going. People are disillusioned with the trust they have placed in this administration. These are people who voted for Donald Trump too. I've seen many people, and I've heard many people speak openly about this, very unashamedly and very unforgivingly, that they are absolutely 100%, stalwart and opposed to Elon Musk having so much power in the government that he has. Some people are Trump voters who say that this has gone too far. Okay, Elon Musk should not be running the government. He should not be slashing these programs and these agencies that children, that elderly, our seniors, that middle class residents rely on a day in and day out basis. And I've seen many people, and we can try to refute this, but this has been authenticated and validated, and I've shown clips of this, so we can lie and try to gaslight ourselves by yelling wrong, or trying to debunk claims that have been proven, because that is the entire that's the entire side, you see. But there's no evidence. There's no pyramids or layers of information to back up any of their statements or their sentiments or their assertions. It's just wrong, or you're a liar. That's propaganda. It's never any argumentation or any rebuttal. There's none anymore in this party. But yeah, we can lie and say one word to try and to try and negate what I'm saying. But I get my information clearly. You don't, and other some people, most people on the other side don't. But I personally get my information based on facts, and I try to look at all media outlets and all sources to see if they are substantiated by multiple sources, and can be proven by multiple outlets. So we're going to take a peek here. So here we see less than 1% of the vote is in. Stop screen sharing. And let's go back here. Switcheroo. So less than 1% of the vote is reporting, and we have currently Brad Schimmel wins so far. This is nothing. This is 1%. And this is coming from heavily, Waukesha County, which is actually where he is from. He is from Waukesha County. I believe he was the, patrol officer or sheriff of some sort of Waukesha County. So not a surprise at all. And not a surprise either that La Crosse County that's 15 points. So far, thus far, for Susan Crawford, we see no other results incoming, and being tabulated as of now in any other counties. But let's just apply this result to see, and we're already seeing, Susan Crawford, cutting in to our very, very early lead with 2% of the vote in, and making some inroads. We already see, what is this? Kenosha County, we have 6% of the vote in. She already has a 4-point advantage here. We see La Crosse County, this is a 15-point advantage for her. Now, again, I'm a facts guy, I'm a numbers guy, I'm an evidence guy. If someone says, I don't like this, I do like this, I want evidence, regardless of where you stand politically or on any issue of any kind. I want evidence behind what you have said. So we're going to, and we can cherry pick things like this very intelligent gentleman is doing. We can cherry pick, we can do this too, but clearly we do like to very exclusive, eliminates other things and narrow down to certain things to help fit our narrative, as we see here. Because I've seen many polls that say the Republican Party has been underwater for years, especially under the Trump administration, and what's your excuse for Democrats performing exceptionally well since Donald Trump has been in office. People do not approve of this, and it's the MAGA wing of the party. People do not approve of the MAGA wing of the party collectively as a people. And they might vote for them over another candidate, but if you ask them what kind of area of the political spectrum they stand on, they do not collectively stand with the MAGA movement and the extreme right movement that has really taken a toll on the GOP in the last couple of years. And we have another boost for Susan Crawford, 4 points also. So I just love the coping and seething that we get from this guy right here. Nice guy, nice. But yeah, anyways, we can weep together. I mean, you can weep and I will laugh. How about that? So here we go. Very good so far for us. Again, obviously he's going to be leading when one of the most populated counties in the state is reporting. Yeah, I give this, I think it's almost a 90% chance she wins. I just do not see how he can win. But again, still 15% of a lead for her in La Crosse County. And I will go here in 2020 or 2024, excuse me, Kamala Harris won here by 9%. So that is already a 6% jump, from the election just a few months ago. And then we go to Vernon County. Let's see here. Vernon County. 5% of the vote in. We don't have very much, it's a very, very, sparsely populated area. We'll go to Dane County, see how we're doing there. 74% of the vote. Susan Crawford to Brad Schimmel's 26%. So 74-26. 74-26. So we are currently seeing a Crawford overperformance of Kamala Harris by 3% as we speak, which is good. Okay. About the same here. Let's see. Winnebago County. Wow, that's... Now, I will say she's probably not going to win Winnebago County by 66% of the vote. This was a Trump county by almost 5%. Not quite 5%, but it barely shifted in 2024. Trump won it in 2020. This county, Winnebago County, by 4%, and in 2020, Trump won it by 4%, and in 2024, Kamala Harris only lost it by about 4.7%, almost 5% there. So that was only a 0.7% shift towards the right. I think we can make some very prestigious gains in there. See, exactly like this. We're gaining as we speak. Again, only 5% of the vote is in. This might take a while. 10%, Door County, 10% lead with 34% of the vote, and we got a pretty reasonable chunk of the portion of the vote in. And there it is. The race is called. There it is, my friends. She has officially overtaken Brad Schimmel in the lead. I have said this. I believe the end result will be approximately 4.5. 4.5 victory for Susan Crawford. I'm very, very, Yes. Okay. We'll see this comment right here. I cannot believe I almost supported Kristi Noem. That was until I found out she brutally murdered a poor dang puppy. Yes. And she bragged about that in a book. This wasn't something that was, disclosed by those of her peers or people who knew her, and this wasn't hidden up covertly. This was very brazen and unapologetic, and merciless. But yeah, I'm glad you've heard about that. And regardless of where you stand politically, I'm glad we can come together and make this big, beautiful Venn diagram and meet in the middle and say that bragging about killing your puppy is not okay. But this is the kind of rhetoric that you see on the other side constantly. Okay, we'll say one thing. Democrats will say one harsh thing every once in a while, and I'm not saying we're perfect, but we see this type of behavior from the right incessantly, ceaselessly. And we see, you know, zero rebuking from their party on the other side, or renouncing their party on the other side, because that's just how it is. But couldn't agree more, sir. Well, I appreciate that. I absolutely appreciate that. And I'm assuming, since you said you were supporting Kristi Noem, I'm just presuming that you lean towards the right when it comes to social issues, economic issues, and that is completely fine. That is okay. It is okay to disagree, or as long as you're willing to negotiate and willing to work with others, even that if that means bipartisan, then that's all I'm asking for. And that's all I can probably speak for half of my party, and half of people who don't like what's going on in this administration. I can speak for a lot of those people when I say that it matters more based on a person's character than it does, how we get to a certain spot, or how we achieve a certain, uh, a stance that we're, yeah. Okay, so which party committed? I'm just going to stop showing these comments because it's just, I don't know how to describe it. It's like nugatory. It's like just senseless. Like, this guy already clearly has his mind fixed up, and there's no talking to this person. But yeah, domestic terrorism against a car company. First off, this is not directly politically motivated at all whatsoever. This is people who clearly do not like what's going on, which again is outspoken Republicans, conservatives, along with Democrats. So it could have been either one of those. But if you want to play this game, we can hold you to the same standard, and I can ask you directly, who is the only president ever in American history who sent a violent and armed mob to the Capitol building, who were all Trump supporters? Every last one of them were Trump supporters, regardless of whatever rabbit hole you want to go down, or any conspiracies you want to get sucked up into and drink the Kool-Aid. But yeah, let me rebut by asking you this question, because I answered your question. Our entire party is not vandalizing this. This was a small group of people that it could have been any party. But if you want to play that game, I will ask you what party collectively, and what group, not even a party, because I'm not that bigoted. I will say what group of people, the MAGAs is the answer, by the way, but what group of people breached the Capitol and smeared their feces on Nancy Pelosi's desk, on the inside walls of the Capitol, and effectively tried to overthrow a free and fair election that was driven by the traditional and constitutional values that our country was founded upon. So you answer that question, buddy. And I don't think you will be able to, because it's just constant contradictory from this party, from this little hate bubble that just needs to be washed away. All right, let's see here. The main reason why I'm a Democrat is because Donald Trump's historic scandals ruining the whole Republican Party, but I still wish USA could get a tolerable Republican candidate again. I absolutely do too. Because I was just talking about my great grandma about this the other day. Now, if Republicans ran a candidate with morals, with decency, with class, with integrity, with empathy, with character, I'd be all right with that. I might not support them, but I would be all right with that. I would be absolutely all right with that. And I would respect your opinion to support that candidate. I cannot respect you if you support Donald Trump. If you support what is going on, if you support his rhetoric, if you support his hatred, his spew, his vile, I can't. I cannot do it because you have shown that you go out of your way to ignore every possible feature of his presidency, and you'll keep pushing the barrier back. You'll keep pushing the limit back. Say, oh, if he does one more thing, I'm not going to support him. He does 15,000 more things, and you say, well, at least he's not Biden, is what you know. But it's a little sickening to me. So we're losing in Clare County, but we're winning in Pierce County. We're not going to lose Eau Claire County. I can almost guarantee that. This was a Harris plus 10 county. So hopefully we can all come to a consensus that this county is definitely not going to go for Brad Schimmel. And there's 6% of the vote in. And look at that. His home county has reduced in the margin for him. Yeah, we're going to win. We're going to win. We're going to win. Yep. Yep-a-roo. We're going to win. But if we don't win somehow, we won't say it's rigged. We won't say it's rigged because that's the, kind of level of personality that we got. We have a personality, and we have a sense of respect, if you will. But if Brad Schimmel happens to come out as the victor, we'll be disappointed, but we'll keep on resisting this MAGA movement. We will keep doing what we can to fight, to engage with people, and we will move forward in the next election to try and win. We won't say it's rigged. We won't riot at the Capitol. We won't send our supporters who are armed, and he knew they were armed, to the Capitol. But yeah, I just don't respond to neurotic deplorables. It's just fine. But yeah, you can keep on. I just find it comical, honestly. But you can keep on, wasting your time in my comment section when you can be doing anything else. Talk about Trump derangement syndrome. I think you have Wyatt Tomlin derangement syndrome because you're all up in my comments and you're just, it's on and on and on and on and on. But, there it is. Tomlin derangement syndrome is real. I agree with that, my friend, because it certainly is. And this shows it now. Tomlin derangement syndrome. I'm going to start using that now because it's just so perfect. Yeah, but yeah, this guy clearly has Tomlin derangement syndrome. And clearly he has Biden derangement syndrome because he sure likes to bring up Biden a lot, which is what he's doing in these comments over here. But yeah, Biden is not president anymore. So I don't know. Maybe they're jealous of him. I don't know. I don't know why they keep bringing up Biden. Maybe they're obsessed with him. Maybe they have a derangement syndrome. Again, for him. Maybe they, I don't know, want to fuck him, which is why they said fuck Joe Biden. Maybe they want to legitimately have sex with him. I don't know. Who knows? Okay, but anyways, Greene County. Damn, we're doing good. Greene County. Oh my lord. Harris won here by less than 1% to get this notion, established. Yeah, she won here by less than 1%, and now Crawford is winning here by 63% of the vote, with 63% of the vote. Wowzers, that's great. But yeah, while we wait, because this is very, very tedious, and seems to be taking a while, which they got to count the votes. Us Democrats, us liberals, as a whole, respect the process. That's part of our platform. Is we respect the process, we respect the results, and we respect the officer. We respect the process, whether that be time consuming or entirely, but or we're so eager to know the results. We know how to be patient, and it's important to be patient. You need that skill throughout your entire life, not just in elections. Okay, but I'm going to pop over here to Florida. So about 95% of the vote is in. And if you look at this, this is crazy. Republicans won here. I knew they were going to win. Like, I mean, it's like, it's common sense that they're going to win in this area. But if you look at how small this margin is, this is 14%. 14%. I think this was like this was a 30-point Trump district. And it's only going for Republicans by 14% this time. That's a 16-point shift towards the left. 16 points towards the left. Okay, and we've seen this in Pennsylvania. This was the same exact premise in the state of Pennsylvania. But what contrasted the difference between that is in Pennsylvania, the Democrats actually won because Republicans, Donald Trump won this district in 2024, last November in Pennsylvania, not this Florida one, but in Pennsylvania, they won this district by 15%. Donald Trump did. And a Democrat just flipped that district, which was absolutely tremendous. And it was really reviving. And if we look at, of course, we have the Republican winning here. I didn't even look into this race. Oh my gosh, we're at Escambia County is going. Okay, this is big. This is pretty big. This was, what was this? This was like a 30-point county too, wasn't it? But oh my God, she is actually winning in Escambia County. It's like, this is home to one of my favorite YouTubers, by the way. I don't know if you know who Logan 30 Acre is, but he's one of my favorite YouTubers. Let's see here. A 4-year-old vacation from President Trump wasn't even close to enough. Like, unlike a 4-year, sorry, there's cops in the background. Unlike a 8-year Trump free vacation, which really should have happened. But oh well. I'm not sure what you're really inferring to when it comes to this. I'm assuming you're talking about the golf trips that he's been taking, which, you know, SML fan. Yes, I am in fact an SML fan. Yeah, which may come as a surprise to some people, but that's, you know, I love SML. I have a good sense of humor, you know, and I love the classics. I'll name a couple for you. I love all the Cody videos. I love Cody. If you know who SML is, you'll know who Cody is. I love Cody. Cody's damn, I can't think of any now. I love Cody's amiibo character. Cody's not in any game, that episode. And I like Jeffy and all the other ones too, but, you know, I've been on a binge with them lately. I've been watching a lot of SML. But yeah, anyways, Escambia County is home to Pensacola, Florida, obviously, which is where Logan 30 Acre is. And I've been keeping track of this county because, you know, Logan 30 Acre is there. I'm like, I wonder how the county of one of my favorite YouTubers voted. But we will, just real quick, I just want to get this point across. This is huge. This is really worthwhile to look at. Okay, so let's see here. We have a 3-point victory for Gay Vallimont, who is the Democrat, who did not win this seat, unfortunately, but did win Escambia County by 3%. If we look at this in Florida, we see, I mean, just look at this. This is a 20% victory for Trump last time. Dude, look at this. This county, I don't even think voted for Roosevelt. Okay, 15 points for, it might have voted for Roosevelt, but you get the point. It hasn't voted Democrat in a long time. It voted for 15 points for Trump in 2020. It voted over 20 points in 2016 for Trump. About the same for Romney. 19 points for McCain. 31 astounding points for George Bush. The second time and the first time, almost 30 points. I mean, if you see the trend here, it's always safe Republican. Always. It's this county at the very tip. Very tip. And we see freaking Gay Vallimont winning here. That is absolutely sensational, my friends. This is good news. And it should be scary for the GOP. It should be very scary. I wonder where where this bootlicker went. I wonder where this guy who I'm displaying on the comments, I wonder where he went, because he's probably wailing and sobbing in the corner right now. Oh, the tides have turned, haven't they, my friend? This is what you get for doing this. This is what you get, by the way. You come up losing in Escambia County, which is not good for your cult of personality of a party, by the way. Sorry, I got to read Sebastian's comments here. I skipped over a little bit. Okay, I got that comment. As somebody who lives in Orlando, I cringe at the fact that so many people who live in my home city support Donald Trump. Yuck. Yes, I completely understand that. But you live in Orlando. Orlando's still, reasonably liberal as of now. Try living in Crawford County, Ohio, for once. It's not very pleasant to see. It's not good. It's hopeless, actually. But that's where I live. I live in Crawford County, Ohio, about a population of about 40,000 people, and it's just, oh my God. When I say it is a cult, it's a cult. And my county alone proves that it's a cult. It's ridiculous. We actually had some bomb threats, and I'm not even joking. We actually had some terroristic threats that were conducted on, I don't know if you know who Katie Hobbs is, the Democrat governor of Arizona. But when she won in the upset victory in 2022, I don't know if you followed along with that, but she beat out Republican Trump-backed, MAGA lunatic Kari Lake. Katie Hobbs did. And this guy, I think his name's Joshua. He's from my hometown, and he's currently, I don't think he's in prison now, but he was charged because he called in a terroristic threat to the governor-elect at the time, Democrat Katie Hobbs, after she won the election. And was saying that it was rigged and all this, the same old punchline, Okay, so let's see. Yep, I got that part. I meant if Harris won the 2024 election, then it would have been 8 consecutive years without Trump as president. That would have been refreshing, wouldn't it? You just brought me to a very good point. That would have been refreshing. Okay, so what are your thoughts on Lance 30-year portraying Donald Trump in a recent video? He actually did this a few years back, portray Donald Trump. And I think, personally, SNL tries to be very impartial, and very, non-controversial when it comes to politics. They might lean into controversy and a lot of, like political correctness and stuff like that, which they have done many times before. But they try not to be, I think, what I'm saying, they do not come out and say they support somebody or they're bashing somebody. I think, for the most part, I've seen jokes made on behalf of both sides. I remember way back in 2015, they made a joke about Hillary Clinton, and they made a joke about Donald Trump in a video when Donald Trump was president. So my thoughts on this, I think I did see that where they did. I think it was like a President Jeffy video. Is that correct? And then, they portrayed Lance as Trump again. This was the second time, because I'm pretty sure I saw the thumbnail of this. So this must have been the second time he did this. But yeah, I don't have a problem with it as long as he's not, following the same old playbook as, the entire crowd of the MAGA area. But wow, just wow. I'm assuming that's in response to what I was telling you about the terroristic threats and stuff. And if that's the case, yeah, it's scary. And especially since this is a town that is not supposed to be considered, okay, hear me out. This is not supposed to be considered a dangerous town because people always think of small towns that, aren't dangerous and they're completely safe and you don't have to worry about locking your doors and everything. That is false. That is, unanimously false. And just to point this out there, I just want to make note of this. There was a guy, I don't know who he was. I think he might have been on some drugs, but there was this guy who was, thank God we got it on camera, because we got cameras after I dealt with some social media issues a couple years ago, personal harassment issues, and somebody found my address and was, taunting me with it. So we installed cameras on our house as a result to that. This was a few years back. And then shortly after that, actually, we were notified in the middle of the night. I believe it was like 3 a.m. or 4 a.m. Coincidentally, it was around that time. In the morning, we saw this guy. I think he was on drugs or he had a backpack, and he was scoping our house out on the front porch. I'm not even joking. I don't know if my dad has the footage still, but there was this guy who had his hand up to his eyes like he was blocking. He was like, I wish I had a camera on this and I'll show you. He had his like hand straight up on his eyes like he was searching for something and trying to block the glare off of the windows. He held his hand up on his forehead to have a narrowed vision. And we assume he was trying to break into the house or look for an outside key. Some people hide spare keys under the mats of their house, outside in the front door. But thank God we did not. We do not do that. And we never have done that. So thankfully, that did not happen. But that got averted. But that just goes to show that rural areas and small towns are not what they get. They get the reputation of being this friendly place where it's crime free, and you don't have to worry about any problems. That is so false. And honestly, I know this might be coming from just my perspective because I was born and raised in a rural area, but I think I would rather. I think I feel more comfortable in a city, in a city with more people, than a isolated area where if something goes wrong or if you're facing trouble, and you need help, it takes help longer to arrive in a rural, sparsely populated area, as opposed to a city where there's people surrounding you. So it's harder to break into somebody's house if you have neighbors or if you have dogs who are, watch outside in the front porch. I feel safer in a city than I do in the country. And that's the main reason. It's because there's more people. There's more surveillance. There's more watchdogs in case anything goes wrong, and law enforcement can, they can arrive safely, efficiently, and expediently in a matter of time, as opposed to in the rural area where it takes quite a while to get to a certain place. And again, here we go with the Tomlin derangement syndrome addict here. But yeah, you make me laugh, buddy. Thank you. I'm not talking about you, Sebastian. Obviously, I'm talking about this fool. But it's fine. It's fine. He can do whatever he wants. He can waste his time, being miserable. But it just brings me joy. But yeah, that makes sense. Yeah. I better get back to the Wisconsin results. Oh my God, we're gonna blow it out. It's gonna be a blowout. It's gonna be a landslide. Oh my Lord. I told you we were gonna win. They should already call it. Oh my gosh. What if we surpass 60% and we win by 60%? Isn't that gonna be oh my God. Isn't it gonna be bewildering that they just voted for Donald Trump freaking last November and now they're switching up so fast? And keep in mind, it is nonpartisan. They come up as nonpartisan. But this is a very partisan election if you think about it. Especially if you actually know anything about politics, you would know which side supports who. But they're not displayed with the label of D or R, D for Democrat and R obviously for Republican. But, they're actually displayed on the ballot itself. For example, on the ballot example that they provide as nonpartisan. So they are not listed as in a partisan manner. So that's a good thing. They got rid of that in Ohio. And since they got rid of that, Democrats lost which goes to show that people vote against their own best interest, and they vote based on whatever, their parentheses and then whatever it says after that. Which really goes to, uplift my point and support my point. Because this is a nonpartisan election, and what do we see here? We see Democrats doing very successful. And then we see in Ohio where they got rid of nonpartisan elections, and Republicans swept every seat. But I guarantee, I swear to God, I will swear out in my life about this. If they kept the nonpartisan, classifications on the ballot in Ohio, Democrats would have won. They would have won because they have better policies, and people understand that when they don't have any labels. But once you put a D next to somebody's name in Ohio, they're done. They're done. Their chances of winning are decimated. They have, they're completely disregarded and no longer considered. Once the D hits the ballot box, once there's a D, parentheses D, then they completely, it's a little sickening. And believe me, I would vote for a Republican if I actually thought legitimately they were the better candidate. If I did my research and I thought a Republican, which is probably not going to be the case in this day and age, but if a Republican was the better candidate, which I highly doubt is ever going to happen, ever since Trump entered politics, those days are over. But if a Republican was a decent candidate and was better than the Democratic candidate, and I actually agreed with them and thought they had good intentions, I would vote for a Republican candidate because I'm open-minded. I'm liberal. That's the definition of liberal. People use the word liberal as an insult when liberal in reality means that you are not set on a certain, established system of beliefs. You are open to reason with other people, even if that means changing your stances or opinions or adjusting your stances or opinions on certain matters, which I have done many times before. Let's see here. If Alaska and Texas had voted for Kamala instead of Trump and no other states changed, hypothetically enough, she would be much closer to the actual victory than she deserved. Sorry, I think I'm just tired. I don't quite understand. If Alaska and Texas had voted, no. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yes. Yes, I see what you're saying, because Texas holds quite a bit of electoral votes. Let's see here. I have so much faith in Hollywood because many celebrities who were smart enough to support Kamala, including J-Lo, Madison, Mariah Carey. I don't know that other one, but yeah, I agree with that. And if it wasn't for Cricket's assassination, that's the name of the puppy. Okay, I would have felt comfortable enough with constantly fantasizing an election between. Okay, yeah, I understand that too. I've seen many people mention that scenario of Gretchen Whitmer versus Kristi Noem. I don't know if it was just a popular scenario that was, was really floated. But yeah, I've heard of that, that prospect coming to light of a Gretchen Whitmer versus Kristi Noem matchup. Where did that come from? I have no idea, but I did hear about that before in the past. So, man, these results are really coming in slow, aren't they? It's almost an hour in, and we're still. But I figured because of and we're looking like we're getting some pretty good turnout too. I mean, not even half of the votes in, and we already got 500,000 votes in our favor, which is good, very good. And I think I may be right. I think I may be actually underestimating Susan Crawford. I thought she was going to win by 4.5. It's looking like she'll win by freaking 13%. Huh. I shouldn't have been so modest. But, yeah. those celebrities were paid for the. Here we go again. The Tomlin derangement syndrome addict is back. But yeah, we can say many things about this too. We can. What are your thoughts on Elon Musk handing out $1 million checks to bribe people into voting for their preferred candidate, or the fact that it has been proven that Donald Trump offered many billionaires cabinet positions in exchange for endorsements and money that was funded towards his transition team, which is why many people did. Jeff Bezos is one of them. Obviously, Elon Musk did a whole lot of money in donations to Donald Trump. That is an establishment, elitist oligarchy at the peak. You see, it's just. But you can pick out, like I said, this side is very good at is contradicting themselves. Is very good at, extracting certain facts and elements from certain things and leaving out other things. Very inconsistent, but for this guy who loves me, apparently, who loves being on my channel and loves receiving my feedback. But I would just like to ask, how much money do you think Kid Rock and all of those, and especially, it's funny, a lot of those people, especially billionaires, why he's ramping up his support with billionaires is because he's literally giving them tax cuts. He's literally giving them tax cuts, and that's the only reason why a lot of billionaires support Donald Trump. And you might say, well, a lot of billionaires support Kamala Harris too. I get that, and I'll get to that. And you know why? It's because they think it's sensible, which it is, to pay a little tiny bit more to help the society and community as a whole, as one, and solemn. But yeah, that's the reason why a lot of people who are rich celebrities support Kamala Harris, is because they're okay with paying a slight bit more. They're okay with paying their fair share and taxes. But you can't even get around that. There's no way around that. Okay, so this is, again, here we go with the cherry picking. George Soros is literally one of the only Dem donors, and there's many people in the Democratic Party that reject his money. For example, Gay Vallimont, who is running in Florida, she rejects corporate PAC money. We see Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez rejects corporate PAC money. Bernie Sanders rejects corporate PAC money. And it's not as much as getting corporate PAC money. It's the fact that they're doing it in exchange for personal favors for them. You don't see George Soros begging on his knees to get a position in any place whatsoever, because he doesn't care about power. He is a private person who is very, very wealthy. He shouldn't be that wealthy, and I'm willing to admit that. And I think we should get rid of Citizens United. I absolutely think that. I stand with Bernie Sanders on that. I think that we should get rid of Citizens United. But apparently, your near and dear leader loves Citizens United because he's taken billions of dollars, and Citizens United, the organization, corporate PAC money that has enabled him to do that. So, yeah. But yeah. This is really going slow, isn't it? But yeah, I enjoy talking with people. I really do. Even if that means not some of the least, more pig-headed people, but that's okay. It's okay. We're all people, and we're all humans in the very end. I mean, we're all fine. We'll be, just try to enjoy life. That's why I'm doing this, because I enjoy doing this. I enjoy commentating. I enjoy, I enjoy this. This is what I like to do as a person. I can't help that, This is just who I am. But yeah, I like doing things I enjoy to do. Okay, I really like this Sebastian guy. I really like him, it seems. Okay, so let's read this comment. I love reading this comment. Oh, first, I skipped over a comment. Okay, there it is. Before you go, may I ask, are you excited that NS2? I am so excited. I am so ecstatic about this. And hopefully you didn't leave because this was 5 minutes ago. If you could just check with me, just post another comment just to let me know that you're still here so you're listening to me. But yeah, I'm not planning on going too soon. I'd like to see who wins this election first. But make sure, Sebastian, if you're here, please, post a comment and, verify. Yep, you're here. Okay, yeah. Yeah, but I am super excited for this. I'm super jubilant for this. But yes, you read my mind. Actually, I did not know that was tomorrow. It is April 2nd, isn't it? Huh. And I heard that my dad is actually really interested in it. He's the one who actually told me about this Nintendo Switch coming out with a with a sequel. And he told me that that the thing tomorrow is basically just expanding on more things that we'll know about it. So it was very brief at first. We just had like one single trailer for it. And then tomorrow we're going to get some elaborated details on what the system entails. And, maybe some of the games might come. We might see a little release of the games or a little snippet of the games, sneak peek of the games. But yes, I am super stoked for that. Very, very excited. I hope they come out with another. I know I'm a very fanatic about Mario 2D side scrollers, but I hope they come out with another one. I know they just came out with Wonder, but still, if you think about it, that was 2 years ago now. That was 2023. Time's flying really fast. But I love the side scroller games. I can play them for a lifetime, and I wouldn't get bored of them. But yeah, I don't know if I'll wrap it up soon. I might have to. It's already 10 o'clock, and I have to get to bed. Hopefully not too soon. I am pretty secured. I feel pretty secure. I feel pretty, calm and tranquil that we are going to come alive in this election. We're going to win. Susan Crawford. And when I say we, I mean Wisconsinites are going to win. We're going to reject corporate PAC money. We're going to reject the oligarchy that is. People say it's forming. This oligarchy is not forming. It's already established. We are literally living in an oligarchy right now. When you see $60 billion. Okay, so Donald Trump's cabinet is, if you combine the total sum of money, the ridiculous sum of money, Trump's cabinet is worth $60 billion. Do you know how many homeless people we can literally eradicate off the streets with that money? $60 billion. And that's, I forgot. That's not even including Elon Musk's wealth. The $60 billion of Donald Trump's money, of the Trump cabinet money, that is not even including the money that Elon Musk has. Elon Musk alone, I believe, it's an absolutely preposterous amount of money. I think it's like 100 and might be 200 and some billion dollars. And what are you going to do with all that money? Like, literally, you do not need that money. That is common sense and common ration. Anybody with any, I don't know, any little brain molecules can tell you directly that no person on this earth needs that much money. And I don't know, but I wasn't always aware of the fact of how vast of a difference $1 million is from $1 billion. There is a huge difference between $1 million and $1 billion. Huge difference. Even $500 million. Huge difference between 500 and $1 billion. I'm okay with millionaires. Okay, I think it's pushing it. But I'm okay with millionaires. I am not okay with billionaires. No billionaire should exist. this country, in the world, nobody has worked that tirelessly, and that arduously to attain and acquire that much money to live millions of lifetimes back to back. So and I love how we changed the subject here. I'm talking about a reasonable, subject, and then we go to this. Oh my lord. It's constant. It's constant. And you're entitled to your opinion. You really are. But you just, I don't know. It's a cult. I mean, you'll go out of your way to defend or to weasel your way out of a certain argument because you have nothing to rebut that. Sebastian, being the level-headed, common-sensed person he is, says, agreed, Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg do not deserve to be as rich as they actually are, let alone Donald Trump. Yeah. But, oh, that emoji was an accident. Yeah, I do that sometimes too. Where I, accidentally sneak in emojis there. So I think I'm actually doing pretty good and spoken like a true socialist. You can call me a socialist. I'll be the biggest fucking socialist there is. If that means that being fair to a certain degree and in not having these people living their lives in absolute luxury while 70%, 80% of us suffer on the sidelines, if that makes me a socialist, then god damn it, I'm a socialist. Oh well. I'm a big old socialist. Boo-hoo. Boo-hoo. I'm a socialist. If that's what socialism is to you, because we should be spreading wealth. We should be equalizing it to a certain degree. And we don't even have, I think we should do it. I think we should do a lot of compensation for the tax breaks that billionaires have received in Republican administrations since the 80s. I think we should do a lot of compensation where we tax the literal shit out of the rich and give that money directly to the middle class, to the poor, to people who are struggling, to people who work their asses off. I'm not talking about lazy people. I'm talking about people who work, like my parents. My parents work, they work overtime, and they're barely making it by. I think we need to really, really, really narrow down and buckle down and tax the hell out of the rich and invest directly in the people who need it most. The people who aren't living in complete prosperity like Elon Musk and other, unfathomably rich people are. And that's not too much to ask. And anybody who says otherwise has some serious problems. But, and if that's too much for you, if that's too sensitive for you because you want to defend billionaires, if you want to idolize and lionize billionaires and suck up to billionaires, if that's too much for you, then we just need to tax them their fair share then. There's nothing radical about that. There's literally nothing radical about that. Tax them their fair share. Make them pay the same percentage of taxes that the rest of us pay. That's it. That's what we're asking for, the bare minimum. Yes, I agree. I agree. That's so funny. Oh, my lord, that's so funny. Mr. Goodman, yes, he is. He thinks just because he's rich, he's better than everybody else. While, say, Mario and other people, well, I don't know actually Mario, because I don't know if he actually works. But let's say Mario had a full-time job, and he still can't afford to pay his house payment. See, that's not fair. If Mario worked, but I don't think Mario works in this scenario. So that was a bad example I just gave. But yes, I do agree with this fact. That's very, very, that's funny. That is funny right there. I love this so much. It's nice that we can see some comedy in certain things. We can come together and say, hey, you know what? This reminds me of the puppet from Super Mario Logan. That's one of the best things I love about life. But yeah, that joke, that example there. But yeah, we'll just act like Mario works. he actually works. But no, he just in the actual series, he basically just sits and, you know, lectures Jeffy all day. Yeah. But I don't know. Maybe when the cameras are off, he works. Who knows? Maybe he has a full-time job. You know. But I do remember a couple times he had to go in for a photo shoot of some sort. And I think in the Nintendo Switch video and some other videos where he had to take, you know, the mascot photos because he's Mario for a new game. I think it was Super Mario Smell My Finger. It was the game that Jeffy, you know, requested and he bought with like $1,000 or something. But if you don't know what that video is from, what is that video from? Huh. Is it Mario's New Hat or something? I don't know. There's a lot of good videos. They're so creative too. Like, they're so creative. I'd like to do something like that. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you know this, but if you've been around my channel, I actually did plush videos, sort of like SML, and it was sort of inspired by SML, actually. If you go to my oldest videos on my channel, you will see what I'm talking about. And it's actually kind of cringe, me looking back at them, but I'll keep them, you know, to look back on them and maybe cringe a little bit in the next years, but that's what it's all about. You know, man, this election result is going pretty slow. I will say that. For an off-year election, this is going pretty slow. I will have to say that. Let's see here. Okay, that's why Scheimel's leading in Ashland County, is because only 11% of the votes in. Again, he's not going to win it. You know, he's not going to win Ashland County. This was, if I can just pivot over here for a sec. Here. He's not going to win Ashland County because this is why. He's not going to win a county that Kamala Harris won by almost 5%, let alone do better by a little bit. And I don't think there's going to be a single county that he outperforms Trump in. I think people are really dissatisfied with this administration, and that's based on what people I've heard. You know, and that's coming somewhat from a conservative leaning area. Most people completely ignore and turn a blind eye to everything that he does and try to defend him like this brilliant intellectual guy over here. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Oh, that's cool. I remember wanting to be a Mario. Yep. But I always procrastinated on it. Yes, I did for a couple years too. So it's all about when you get that spark. It's all about when something snaps in you and you say you have to do it. You literally have to do it. And that's what happened. I wanted to do plush videos. I believe you might think I'm joking, but I think it was around the same time as what you're saying in 2015. I was thinking about doing plush videos, and I didn't actually end up fulfilling on that until 2017 is when I made my first official video on my YouTube channel and my first plush video along with that, because it was my first video. And I'll show you a sneak peek of that real quick. We're not going to watch it. You can watch it on your own time, but here it is. Bowser Jr. and Toad's Nintendo Switch Mario Kart 8 Deluxe / Isaac, which is basically a game where the audio is very out of sync with the footage, and it's basically where I have Bowser Jr. and Toad playing Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. This is right around the time that the Nintendo Switch actually first debuted. And then The Blinding of Isaac, which is a very fun horror game. I did not say horror game. I said horror game. If you're actually into that sort of thing. And I love that. Oh, my dad's calling me real quick. I will be back momentarily, my friends. Take a guess who's leading, Dad.
I don't know. Democrat.
Yep. Susan. Yep. She's in the lead by about 14 points, which is huge. I'm telling you, people aren't happy with this administration. All right, bye. I gotta text my grandma. What was I going at? Oh, yeah. I was gonna read this comment. Wisconsin approves, and that's okay. That's okay. That's not gonna change anything. That's not gonna change anything. And you know what's proof of that? That we're about to win. Democrats are. This is not gonna change anything, and I will prove that point right now and right here and right now. Okay, we'll go here. That's gonna pass, and I'm fine with that. You can enshrine. Yep, it did pass. It did. I knew it was going to pass. And look at that. I knew Dane County was going to be the only county that voted no. I figured that Milwaukee would narrowly vote yes. See, I'm on the ball with my election predictions. I'm like the best election predictor out there, really. But anyways, yeah, no problem. Yeah, give that a watch if you can sometime. Warn you, it is very cheesy and cringy, but back to this, that's fine. And that's not gonna, disadvantage us in any way. And this is how I tell you why. We're gonna win this election by a blowout, very clearly. We're up by 11 points, so we're probably gonna win this election. And this overwhelmingly passed with almost 61% of the vote. That means a lot of Democrats said that yes, we do need voter ID because it's if I would have voted yes on it probably because yeah, you should be a citizen of that state, and it should be proven that you're a citizen of that state in order to vote. Okay, you want to know the truth? There you go. I'm not afraid. I'm not afraid to say that. And you know what? This amendment will be passed, and Democrats will still prevail in elections, like we are doing right now, as you can see. So, there you go. There you go. Thank you again, Mr. Lava Lamp. Thank you, my friend. Thank you for giving me a perfect, opportunity to prove my point right there on the spot and ad-lib it right there for you. And I know you probably left, but let's see. Susan Crawford's face almost reminds me of Wojciech, except I guarantee that Crawford. I'm not sure who that is. I'll have to look. Do you mean Wojak? That's not who you mean, right? That meme guy? No, that's not who you mean. Because that's Wojak. That's not Wojak or whatever that is. Wojciech. Huh. I've never heard of that before. I'll have to look it up. Oh, you mean Anne Wojciech or whatever? I don't know how to say that. Sorry, I'm pronouncing that. I'm butchering that pronunciation. Oh. Susan. I'll have to look her up to see if I see anything, here. Susan, what's her name again? Wojciech. That is such a strange name. There it is. Yeah, American business executive, YouTuber. Or, CEO of YouTube. Let's share this screen real quick. Hopefully this procrastinating will push back some time and we'll get some more results. Oh my god. I legitimately see the resemblance. I really do. We're going to take a look at that and we're going to compare that side by side. If we can, side by side. Hopefully we can. So Susan, and it's funny their name's the same too. Susan, is that partly the reason why you kind of tied them together? Is because they have the same name? Because I would have done that too. That's the way I am. Yeah. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. You're on to something. They might be sisters. Huh. I wish you could pull them up side by side. Can you not do that? What? That's some crazy shit. Okay, so dang it, when I open a new tab, it won't let me do it. Dang it. Yes, I will look. Oh, it's not shared. Okay. Okay, there we go. This right here is Susan Wojciech, or yeah, I think that's how you pronounce it. I'll download an image just to make it easier side by side. Go here to downloads. Bam. Then we'll download an image of Susan Crawford. We'll get a more. That's not her, is it? No. This image. We'll get that image. Download that sucker. Right there. Bam. Bam. Oh, dang it. Gotta go all the way here and then do it. Excuse me, my throat. Why is it doing this? Okay. Woo. Okay. Oh my oh my god. Oh my god. Susan Wojcicki. I don't know how you say it. So Susan Wojcicki. Susan Crawford. Oh my lord. Dude, how did you come to this? How did you come to this, resolution? Where do you see these two? Oh, did you just already know? You probably already knew who. Wait a minute, it didn't show. Dang it, it didn't show because I'm an idiot. All that was for nothing. It didn't show because it doesn't show for some reason. Damn it. Entire screen. There we go. Oh my lord. Hopefully you can see it now. Yep, hopefully you can. Okay, anyways, sorry for wasting your time. This right here is Susan Wojcicki. So I'll just do one word. Susan Wojcicki. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but if I am, Susan Crawford right there. The resemblance is jarring. Wojcicki, Crawford. Oh my lord. Where did you come with that resolution? Where did you come with that, Oh my gosh, that is crazy. That's crazy. Huh. That is very interesting. That is awesome. I love that a lot, actually. So let's see. Yeah, I knew about Wojcicki. Again, I'm hoping I'm pronouncing that name right, because of my research of history with YouTube. That's nice to do. I like to do that too, actually. I like to look at history and how YouTube looked and certain things back in different eras. And then I looked at Crawford. I found it so coincidental that the women both had the same first name, would look alike. I find that too, but it's little. What is the word? It's little occurrences in life that I see this all the time. It may be as unbelievable as imaginable. But I see this. It's not a rare occurrence. I see these very strange anomalies all the time about certain things. Let me give you an example. There's this girl at my homeschool, and of course I forget her name, but she literally looked the exact same as this girl at my vocational school that I currently attend. I attend a vocational school, which basically is, a collaboration of different schools from around rural Ohio. I'm sure they have them in other states, but this one I go, it's in sort of rural Ohio. It's in Shelby, Ohio, actually. And it's basically, it's a trade school is the word that people call it. But it's actually a vocational school, and there's people that are very, very, very identical and very visibly, similar at both my homeschool and my vocational school. And at first, I thought they were the same person. I'm like, I didn't know you went to this school, and you're like, I have no idea what you're talking. No, I didn't actually say that. I didn't go up to her and say, you look like this girl at my homeschool. Or are you this girl at my homeschool? I just kind of figured out that it wasn't the same girl that I was talking about. Okay, let's see here. Yep, it almost reminds me of the resemblance between Ryan Reynolds and Ryan Gosling. Or on a separate note, for crises, Pratt, Pine, Elvis. Wait a minute. I think I've heard of them before. I might have heard of them. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but Ryan Reynolds, I know who he looks like, and then Ryan Gosling. I'm gonna have to look him up. Yeah, I'm gonna have to look him up. I hate how I have to stop sharing and then resume. You know, I wish I could just do it all at once, but let's see what this Ryan Gosling looks like. No. What? Hold up. Hold up. Ryan Gosling and Ryan Reynolds. Isn't that Ryan? Oh my god, dude. What the what? Okay, that's gotta be the same person. Hold up a sec. This is not the same person? Dude, what? What? I feel like I've seen this guy before, and I'm like, I literally confused him with Ryan Reynolds at first. I was like, okay, this one is the other one, and then turns out they look exactly the same. Oh my lord, that is scary. That's very scary. Huh. Wow. I did not know people could look that identical to each other. Yeah, we'll go back to the other one in case you didn't see it, because my computer likes to play games with me. It does. Okay. Ryan Reynolds. Gosling. There's no way. There's no way right now. Let's see Brad Pitt. Does he look like that? No. I mistook him. Brad Pitt looks nothing like them. I don't know where I got that from. Or maybe he does a little bit. I don't know. It's a crazy world we live in. I've already accepted that fact. I mean, I know that. It's not just that I accepted it. It's just I know that's just the reality of it all. That we live in a very, very strange and, uncanny world. Very uncanny world. Oh my god, we won. We won. Woo! We won, sweet, sweet victory, yeah. Oh my lord, we won. We won. When we fight, we win. When we fight, we win. But the fight takes a while. Quote Kamala Harris. There it is. We win. When we fight, we win. ... But the fight takes a while. That fight, my friends, is here. That fight is here. We've done it. We've prevailed. We did it. We did it. And it's looking like we're about to win by 11 points. On track to win by 11 points now. So clearly I was off. My prediction, my map was pretty damn precise. We won. Is that your reaction? Did you see the results too? We won. We got it. And look how big we won by too. See? The good guys do win at the end. Okay? They do. At the very end of time, the good guys will win. And by good guys, I mean us. Us. Our side. Yes. Well, I'm very happy. We are both happy together, my friend. But yeah, I think I might wrap it up. I'm stay on for a couple more minutes, but hopefully you can hear this. If you can't, I'm gonna be sad. But please, hopefully you hear this. You hear the music? No, we gotta do it with the music. All right. All right. First off, I want to do this. I just need to.
Face dumps.
The winner does take all. We took it all. Hells yeah. Woo! I love the coat. I love it. I love the loaf and the deflecting. I love it. You're making me happier, buddy. Thank you. Yeah. So baffled that Stephen Hillenburg dealt with. Yeah, I know. That's sad. It's really sad. Fun fact about that. Do you hear the audio, by the way? If anybody can give a confirmation that they hear the audio, that would be very nice. To fix some of the problems in the future if it does not. Did you hear the song just now that I was playing? If you could answer, that'd be great. But to touch base a little bit on that just before I leave. Okay, yes, you did hear it. I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, I did not actually know that Stephen Hillenburg died until he died on my dad's birthday, actually, November 27th. And I remember the day very distinctly. It was the first year we got my dog, Ralph, my very first dog in my life, first dog ever. Ralph, he's a husky, Siberian husky. And we were celebrating my dad's birthday with him. And I believe we had steak. We went all out. We had steak for my dad's birthday. It was his, 41st birthday, I believe. We went all out. We had steak. We had baked potato. I think we had like a cake, red velvet cake, I believe. I remember he died on that day, and I did not figure out he died on my dad's birthday while we were having such a good time and celebrating that moment that was supposed to be happiness and celebrating my dad's birthday, when in reality, one of my favorite childhood cartoonists died during that time that I didn't know about. But I found out, I believe, in February of the following year, 2019, February, if not January. And you know what's funny? We talked about SML earlier. I found out about the death of Stephen Hillenburg from a vlog on Chili's channel, which is Logan 30acre, the guy who makes SML, the Jeffy and all that. He's his girlfriend's account is Chili. That's her name, the name she goes by. And I remember that I found out that he actually passed away after I watched that video, and I found out that he passed away. But yeah, let's see if I can find it real quick. Let's see. Okay, so Chili SpongeBob, because they did a whole video about something. Might have not. Nah, it would have been 2018. Chili SML SpongeBob. Sorry, I had a burp there. It wasn't this, no. No, it wasn't that. Now I can't find it naturally. But there was a video. It mentioned something about SpongeBob and a controversy where they accidentally lit a game on fire and they lit SpongeBob's face on it, and the fans were a little furious and livid about it, and it sparked outrage. But he said he did not mean to do it specifically on SpongeBob's face, and said that he knew that the creator just died and everything like that, and he did not mean to do that. But yeah, that's good minds think alike, my friends. Good minds think alike. Keep that in your mind, for the rest of your life. Good minds think alike. But yeah, and it's okay to have different interests, but people with similar interests are definitely, if like similar pinpoint interests, definitely have something extremely in common, and I think that's very good. But yeah, I enjoyed this very much. I'm very happy. Just if we can get an updated result so far before I hit the hay, I'm about to go to bed. Right here, there's the final end conclusive results, regardless of how much, the 43% of the votes still left. Susan Crawford is going to be the next Supreme Court fill-in for the seat. Brad Schimmel and Elon's failed attempts to buy this race have dwindled. And they have not been successful, which means Elon actually wasted all of that money by handing out $1 million like it's pieces, like strains of grass on the ground to people. But yeah, so Elon wasted a whole bunch of money. His stock is plummeting. And then we are waking up as a country finally. I do not know how the state voted for Donald Trump, but then voted for Susan Crawford by such a huge margin. But that is beyond me. At least we won this time. I'm happy about that. And part of this was due, I believe, to the Trump administration. But I was accurate with my prediction. We won. Elon losing a bet. That's awesome. Yep. Yep. But yeah, good night, guys. I absolutely, very much, tremendously appreciate you guys being on here. Even, the guy who's going to go to bed tonight, or maybe not go to sleep tonight because he's so distraught over the election results, which is this, Tomlin derangement syndrome, guy. But yeah. Yeah, thank you guys for watching. I feel like there's something else I wanted to say, but I don't know what it was. But yeah, I'm just glad. I'm going to call my grandma real quick or text her and let her know that the election has been decided for Susan Crawford because she has a job. It's a whole thing. She's like 60-some, which goes back to my point that middle-class people are struggling. But she cannot afford to retire right now, so she currently does not have access to internet at her work. So I'm going to text her to let her know who won the results, and I feel like she's going to be pretty happy. But yeah, and very at ease. But yeah, I'm so glad she won. Me too, my friend, me too. But thank you guys. Good night. I will probably re-upload this on my channel, hopefully, as a video. But yeah, thank you guys. Tune in for the next live stream, video, etc. See ya. Bye. Enjoyed talking to all of you. Please join back sometime. See ya. Bye.